So, what's going on, everybody? My name is Chrispy Divine. Central Mass Vapors is the show, and I, of course, am now the self-proclaimed vlog hog, even though I'm expecting somebody to come out and say, hey, that's my name, you can't use it. Well, guess what, honey? I am using it, for now anyway. So, anywho, I got the windows open because it's nice and cool out, so please forgive me if you hear beeping, loud cars, trucks, and or screaming from the neighborhood children who should be inside watching television. Because, as we all know, that's what kids do nowadays, right? Right. Today's a very special video for me, okay? Because I've been talking about how I want to do a video about my Rocket Chicken box mod collection for quite some time. And I guess the reason that I've never actually went and did it is because...
And now here comes the whining.
I don't like talking about technical stuff. I don't like going in depth and being like, oh, look at this, look at this. Because I feel like I'm not saying it the right way and then I'm teaching somebody something wrong. And for me, I'm a straight up user. I'm not somebody who's going to be making these things. You know, I know what they do and how they work and batteries and all that stuff, but I don't know, you know, what this is and what that is and what wire and all that stuff. So I tend to try to like not talk about that stuff. So today, it's going to be a little bit of me saying things that I know about, talking about why I like the certain thing that I'm showing off, and we're going to talk about my group and how Rocket Chicken Box Mods pertains to this group. Ready? I'm certainly ready. So I'm sitting down today because I didn't want to stand up and be like, ah, so I figured I'd sit down and have it be a little bit more formal, and you know, so that's good. So let's talk. So first and foremost, let's talk about Rocket Chicken Box Mods, okay? I did a Google search, or actually I apologize, I lied. I did a search on Facebook for box mods. Now, as you all know, there are the hexomes. Alright, so let's take a quick look at this hexome here, okay? The big thing that a hexome has that you will not find in other unregulated box mods is that this one is regulated with a OKR, I believe it's an OKR T10 or T20 chip, okay? And basically what that means is that instead of just having this be run by the power of the batteries, okay, you can actually go from 3 volts all the way up to 6 volts on this, okay? You're going to use this potentiometer right here. So it's basically supposed to only max out at 110, I believe 110 watts, okay? Because you're not supposed to build anything under, I believe, 0.32 or 0.33, because once you build underneath that, it's going to put too much stress on the hexome or the chip, and it will fry it out, okay? So you want to make sure if you ever do get one of these, you know, you don't want to screw around with that, and you should be, you know, building safely anyway, so therefore, you know, it should be an excuse. But you know, they're cool boxes. They are a lot pricier, you know. I believe it's that chip that makes that price, you know, jack up. So something like this, which kind of looks similar to what we you know, you'll see later on when we talk about, you know, my Rocket Chicken box, just without that, you know, chip and whatnot in the potentiometer. You know, but you're looking at about friggin', you know, $100 difference almost in some of them. So, great box. You know, a lot of people have them, you know, and I really enjoy it. And like I said, it's a lot different than the Rocket Chicken, or the unregulated box mods, I should say. But we'll look at that as well, and you guys can see kind of the difference here. Or there's like the unregulated box mod where it's just got the internal stuff with a MOSFET.
What the hell is a MOSFET?
Okay guys, so let's talk about a MOSFET for a second, okay? Here is a box mod. It's a dual parallel 18650 Rocket Chicken box mod, okay? And you see the little switch up there? That is for the voltmeter, so I can see what the batteries are at instead of having to take them out and putting them on this, that, and the other thing, whatever. Well, anyways, when you guys stick these big, like, RDAs on here with the 0.2 ohm coils, when you're pushing that button, it is taking power to the 510, okay? So what a MOSFET is doing is passing the current from the batteries to the 510 so that the switch doesn't have to do all the work, right? It basically is using a small amount of current in the MOSFET to control a larger amount of current, because let's just say you got a 0.2 2 ohm coil, and you're running at 4.00 on the volts for the battery, then you're running, I don't know, whatever, say 20 amps or whatever. Well, instead of having all that go right through the button to the 510, the MOSFET is basically helping to distribute it. That is the simplest way I've ever heard it explained. I hope it makes sense. And again, don't take this as word. Do your homework if you're going to get into this stuff. Be safe about it. Learn about it yourself, and read a lot more different things about it, not just one person, because everybody has their opinions, and sometimes they come off as fact, and that ain't cool. And then there's the completely fully mechanical mod where there's no MOSFET, it's just batteries and a connection like a mechanical mod. And then of course you got your boxes that are fully regulated, like the Sigelis and all that stuff. For me, when I first started thinking about getting into the box mod thing, I wasn't sure what kind of box I wanted. I know that I wanted something different than a Sigeli, but I wasn't sure exactly what the MOSFET and this, that, and the other thing, what I cared about. So I based my decision on what box to get on a couple things. One was how many people talked about them, okay? When I posted in Facebook and I said, hey, I'm looking for a box mod, what do I want to get? The people that said this or that or whatever, depending on how many times it was mentioned, I raised my eyebrows to those people. Also, when it came down to deciding on who I wanted to try to buy a box from, I messaged these people, and depending on how they reacted or talked to me, I should say, that was another thing, because I wanted to get into business with somebody who was going to take the time to talk to me about their stuff, because the people that make these box mods, I mean, they're not like full-on corporations. They're people who probably started off at doing this as a hobby and realized they were good at making them and decided to keep going on with it and to start a business with it, okay? So that's all cool. So it started off where I started talking to this one person, and we all know the story. I got ripped off, whatever, that's over and done with. But then my other choice, my first choice really, was this one group, this one box company, and it was Rocket Chicken Box Mod. I ended up going with the other choice, mainly because they were, Rocket Chicken boxes had already had a following. These people were brand new, and I had this thought like how much I really wanted to get into a box that was just starting up, like I wanted to be one of the first people to own a box, and if that box decided or became like big, I was one of the first ones to own it. I like being a part of things as they get bigger and bigger, So I went with this. Anyways, we all know how that ended. But so then I went right to Rocket Chicken Box Mods, and I had already talked to him about boxes, and he had helped me decide on what kind of box to get and what I wanted. I had my heart set on a 26650 box, and luckily he was just getting done with a run of his first pilot series, okay? And he was just getting ready to start his the Kaiju, okay, which is this box that I have right here, okay? So you got some red kanji on the back, you got a little Rocket Chicken, whatever, goat, or whatever this is, on this side, and then of course when you look inside, you have the 2 batteries, the MOSFET, and the wires, and the connections, and all that good stuff. So I chose to get in on this. I believe this box was like a little over $100 shipped. It wasn't too bad. It was pretty affordable in my eyes, especially when you look at some of these regulated mods that go for like $200. And then you look at those high-end ones with like the SX chips or the DNA chips, and they're going for like $500 or $600, But whatever. So after I waited the usual time to get the box, the day finally came. Now, one of the big things that I enjoyed about working with Rocket Chicken Box Mods was that on his Facebook page, he always put updates, okay? He took pictures of his progress. He told people when things were getting ready to ship, how long it was going to be before they shipped, when different parts came in. He took pictures of that when they came in. So this was not just buying a box and having it sent to me after it was finished. Like BC Box Mods, nothing against them, but great company, but when I bought them, I went online, ordered it, they shipped it to me when it was done, and that was it. Whereas with this, it was like a whole entire, you know, just the whole process was actually fun. So I didn't mind waiting, like it was like a normal lead time. I mean, you make it 15 boxes at a time, you gotta, you know, give them some time to make it. But it was fun because you got to like look at all the updates, and you know, you could message him at any given time and he always answered the questions. And I don't know, there was just so many things about the whole process of buying these boxes that made it very pleasurable for me. And for everybody else, because he's got a really, really good following on Facebook. So let's talk about the boxes for a second, okay? So when you're buying a box mod, okay, there's a couple different options that you can go other than regulated, unregulated, mechanical, okay? When you decide you want an unregulated box, okay, so you're looking at a box that is powered by the batteries itself. There's no chip, there's no, you know, variable voltage, no variable wattage, nothing. So the way that you control how many watts or volts you get from your box is all going to be dependent on your battery orientation and the batteries you choose, as well as the resistance of your RDA or your tank or whatever you use, okay? So, for instance, in a dual parallel setup, you're looking at two different batteries that are set up in parallel, and usually it'll be plus on top, minus on the bottom, or negative on both sides. And what that does is it combines the total mAh rating, which is a milliamp hour, right? So it's how long the battery is going to last, okay? So if you have a 2500 milliamp hour battery in a parallel box, you're going to combine that, so you're going to have 5000 milliamp hours to get before you're going to have to recharge your battery. So it adds battery time to it, which is great, right? Now, for me, I've heard two different versions of this, okay? From what my understanding was that it also doubles the amperage of your battery. So if you're using Sony VTC5s and it's a 30 amp rating, then it's going to double it to 60 amps, okay? But I've also read in other places that that is not necessarily true. So I'm just giving you both of what I've heard. You can make your decision based on what you want. But just know, either way, you're going to have to still do your research, your Ohm's law, and all that stuff. So the other thing that happens when you're using a parallel box is that it does allow you to build still low, you know, based on how much you like to build, okay? So for me, I like to build somewhere from 0.2 ohms to 0.3 ohms, okay? Sometimes I do go under 0.2, maybe 0.5, 0.6. I very, very, very rarely go under that. And if I do, it's really just for me to play around with, and then I don't do it. And that's just a personal choice. People know, if you are comfortable with your batteries and you're comfortable with it, there's many, many, many different builds you can make that are far lower than what I do. But that's a personal choice you have to make, and you have to be safe about it, and you have to know about it. It's important, okay? And it's not just important for you personally, okay? Let's just break it down. For all you people out there that are sitting at home and you're wrapping these crazy builds and you're running them and your freaking mod is so hot you can't touch it, get a clue, okay? It's not just about you. It's about this whole entire world we live in. The more people that get themselves hurt from these boxes or batteries or whatever, the more a microscope is looking down on us closer, and the more people will judge. So if you're somebody who is familiar and safe and you understand it and everything and you're okay with that and you control the environment and all that stuff, great. But if you're just looking at somebody else's stuff and you want to do it like them, don't.
Don't. Don't.
Don't. I need of it. 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 I need of it.
With that said, So yeah, so parallel box, perfect, okay? So on the flip side of that, you also have the option to run a series box, okay? And what that means in a nutshell is, one, the battery orientation is going to be plus on the top, minus on the bottom, minus on the top, plus on the bottom. So it's going to be switched, okay? That's one way you'll know. But also, if you put a voltmeter on top of a parallel, the readout from a fresh battery should read 4.2. If you put it in a series box, it should read 8.4, okay? Because in a series, it's actually doubling the voltage versus the amps or the mAh, okay? Or milliamp hour. In parallel, it's just doubling the milliamp hour and the amps or not, whatever. And in the series, it's doubling just the voltage, okay? So you're getting 8.4 volts, but you're still getting 2600 milliamp hour, okay? And you're still getting 25, 30, whatever amps, okay? So that's why it's important for people to understand when you're using a series box, you don't want to go super, super low. The best part about using a series box, in my opinion, is that you are able to use more wraps on your wire, okay? Because you want to build higher, okay? And the reason being is that when you take out your calculator, your Ohm's law calculator, and you do the math, if you're building at a higher ohms on a series box, then you're getting, like, depending on how, you know, you build it. So say like a 0.5 ohm build. I don't have my calculator. Instead of, if you use a 0.5 ohm build on a series box, if you do the math, you're still going to get a shit ton of watts, but you're not going to be pushing as many amps, okay? So in order to get that many watts on a parallel, you'd have to do it low and push more amps. So technically, in a series, if you build it right, it can be a lot safer because you're not pushing as many amps, but you have to follow those rules. You can't go and build a 0.15 ohm build, you know, on a series and expect it to go over well, because as soon as you hit, it's going to go, you know, and it's going to, I don't, God knows what will happen, but it's not safe. That's why a lot of times if you see people who have warranties on their boxes, and if they have a series box, they'll say this is warranty is rated no less than, say, a 0.3 ohm coil or whatever the case may be, because they know anything under that is not going to be good for your switch or your batteries or the box in general. So they won't cover it, which is great, because it, for the most part, should make you aware not to do it. So anyway, so now you've decided that you want a parallel box, or you've decided you want a series box, okay? Most times you're either going to have options to decide what you want on the box. Sometimes, like with a Kaiju, this is what the design was. He was making 15 of them, and mine was different because of the serial number that I have on here. Other times you have the options to, like this one. This is my Pilot Box V2 from Rocket Chicken. So I picked a yellow box, I picked a green sled and a voltmeter to go on it, and then of course the Pilot and whatnot. Another one I have here is the Cosmic Jawbreaker. This was a batch of them. This is how they all came. So these are both in parallel. All of these in parallel. I do have a series box, but I don't have it on me as of right now. But that's okay. So for me, utilizing a box company that you trust and that you want to do business with is always good. And with Rocket Chicken, they've always been really good to me. They've always been honest and upfront, and he's forever changing and getting better. And the guy's an artist, and that's cool too. So there's always some new stuff that's going on. So with that said, when you're looking at boxes, just keep this in mind. Ask a lot of questions. Be aware of who you're buying your boxes from. Make sure you choose the right type of build that is going to be, that is going to match the type of person and the type of vapor you are. For instance, if you like to build crazy coils, you're probably better off going to a parallel build, because then you can build your crazy Claptons and you can push it down to 0.14 or whatever, and it's fine. If you like more flavor, if you like to build with higher number gauge wires, like 28, 30 gauge wire, you might want to go with a series, because then you can wrap a lot of wraps and you can use surface area to create flavor and all that good stuff, and you can build higher resistance and you know, or higher ohms rather, and then of course you know, push less amps. So that's all good. Next thing is, you want to, like I said, you want to trust your box maker. You want to know that the quality is going to be good. What kind of stuff is he using? What kind of internals is he using? What kind of wires is he using? Even if you don't know exactly what the difference is between what, at least you know what they're doing, so that way you can go and you can compare it to other ones, and you can look at other people's boxes, etc., etc. Okay? So choosing a box is a lot of fun, okay? You just have to know a little bit of something, and once you do, you can make a great decision, and you can just have a great box, and you'll have a lot of fun with it, okay? If you haven't already checked out my group on Facebook, I've changed the name. It's no longer Central Mass Vapors. I thought that it was getting pigeonholed as a New England, you know, group, and I didn't want that. It's now called the Divine Vaping Group, or Divine Vaping Group, or DVG, whatever you want to go for. The reason why I talk about this with the Rocket Chicken box is because right now there is an amazing opportunity to come to my group, okay? And on this group, you're going to have fun with the people. There's lots of, you know, talking about vaping. There's a lot of, you know, just goofing around, stupid stuff, funny stuff. People are really getting to know each other, which is always really, really good in the vaping world, to have a community. Also, right now I have this amazing buy up, okay? It's a group buy, and basically what that means is that I've talked to somebody that in this company, and we're going to be able to get a bunch of these things made, and it's going to be at a really good price, and they'll ship to your door and all that good stuff. You know, basically just I'm the middleman. The group is the middleman. It's a way to like put it all together. It's for the Rocket Chicken groups, and this is going to be amazing. The boxes are $80 shipped, okay? You know, and that's a really good price. But the best part about it is you have the choice to choose the color of the box. You have a choice to choose the color of the sled, the battery sled that holds the batteries in. And you also have the opportunity to choose the battery orientation. So if you want series, you choose series. If you want parallel, you choose parallel. $80 shipped to your door. It's a great, great, great thing. Once that's done, there's going to be tons more to come. I cannot wait to get my hands on some new products and just really, really, really go at it hard. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can promise you that. Anyways. So the other thing is that on it, it will have the Rocket Chicken logo, and it'll also be, it'll also have DVG in there for the Divine Vaping Company or something. I haven't really decided. It will come out. It will be great. But anyway, there's only 10 of these going to be made. Right now, there's already 4 taken. So if you want in on this, you better get over there. Join the group, get in that, and do it. The other thing that's really cool about this is that if you join this group, once we hit a certain amount of members, I'm giving away a Rocket Chicken box. So even if you don't want to buy one, you can still maybe get one. The chicken box is going to come out with, it's going to be a Rocket Chicken box in series. It's blue, and also a $25 gift certificate to Giant Vapes. So that's just first place, the box and the $25 gift certificate. Second place is going to be straight up a $50 gift certificate to Giant Vapes, okay? Giant Vapes, as you all know, is one of my favorite companies, and they sell a bunch of different juices. I'm telling you, everything you want, they have. So you're going to be able to get a $50 gift certificate to that. I'm still working on like a 3rd and 4th prize, and maybe adding to the 1st and the 2nd. But anyways, get in there, take advantage of the group buy. If you don't, take advantage of the giveaway. All you have to do is join the group. If you want to help out and share this video, or share, sorry, if you want to help out by sharing the video or sharing one of the posts that I have made for the giveaway, then that's great too. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Just join the group, and at some point you will definitely get a an opportunity for this box. So anyway, I've rambled way too much for this video. I'm gonna let you guys go, but remember what I said. If you want to do yourself a favor and you want to get into a box, definitely do your research. If you really want to make it happen and you want to be safe and you want to be taken care of, Rocket Chicken Box Mods is always your way to go. The link is going to be in the description for them. It'll also be the link in the description for my group, and you can get there from that. And also, if you would like any more information about anything, just keep watching these videos. They're going to be getting a little differently, hopefully, and we'll have some more fun. So let me take a hit off this freaking thing. I'm so excited. I love you all. Thank you for joining me. And remember, it's not all about hand checks. It's not all about your favorite juice. You have to fight for your right to vape because nobody else is going to do it for you. And of course, when it's all said and done, you gotta stay fabulous.